Welcome to the show, everybody. College Admission Success Show with Mr. Buffer. I'm so glad you're all here. We got some questions submitted this week, some very good questions. I'm going to focus on one of them about asking me some secrets to college essays and what are some characteristics colleges look for in their essays and some things, important things to highlight. I'm going to focus on one today. One thing colleges love is emotional intelligence, displays of emotional intelligence. They want to add more emotional intelligence to their campus community. And one of the best ways to show this is to show your ability to give others credit, to show other people impacted you, whether it be a teacher, a coach, anything. And that can be written in your common application essay. We write it together in your supplemental essays. It makes a very lasting impression. Colleges like to see that you see your life is interconnected with others in countless ways, whether it's the police, firefighters, a security guard at your school. None of us is really independent. We all need oxygen from trees to breathe. We need the military to keep us safe. We need police officers, I mentioned, firefighters. And when colleges can see that students recognize that interconnectedness, it shows humility, it shows gratitude to others. Those make college essays stand out. And I help my students write such essays, put such qualities in their essays. As a matter of fact, University of Pennsylvania asks a question, and one of the first essay questions is, who is someone that helped you and why, and write a letter thanking them. Colleges really like to see that you can, as part of emotional intelligence, recognize, empathize with the feelings of others as well. This is all part of EQ. So recognizing others helped you. Another part of emotional intelligence is recognizing that they can see that you can recognize others' emotions, be empathetic, and they can tell this in the ways how you communicate with others, how you write about how you communicate with others, how your recommendation letters show you communicate with others. These are all great ways that colleges ascertain and can recognize your emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence reflects your maturity, your self-awareness, and your ability to work with people from diverse groups. That's geographic diversity, ethnic diversity, all kinds of diversity. And these are qualities that are essential for success in college, to be a campus leader. And colleges know that students who have emotional intelligence are better equipped to handle the demands of academic life, to collaborate effectively with others, to become leaders who make a real impact. Yes, so they could tell this EQ from your essays, yes, from your rec letters I mentioned, because teachers and counselors, I was a high school teacher for many years, and I would help write these letters, and I would see, my students who get into top schools, I know their teachers are writing about their students' abilities to recognize, to take feedback in, to empathize with others, to lead others. And when students highlight their EQ in their essays, they reflect on their mistakes, how they grew from their mistakes, their storytelling abilities, how they articulate their values, their growth, their empathy for others. These are all ways that colleges ascertain EQ, along with, as I said, their rec letters, through their extracurricular activities. They can say, did they have a leadership role? Were they elected to a leadership role, whether it be in DECA, FBLA, student council, even were they elected in just their, in a very smaller group, or they elected statewide to be a vice president of something. These show colleges, they must know how to read people, how to motivate people in order to be elected. If they won awards that have to do with leadership, or and even a hackathon, being able to work well with others, this all demonstrates higher EQ, emotional intelligence, which makes students great qualities. They bring great qualities to the college community. And college students sometimes you don't always have to say it in their essay. I teach them, sometimes you say, I'm empathetic. Sometimes you just show it through their essays by reflecting on their growth. They love to see admissions officers, especially Ivy League ones, how you learn from your experiences, how you gain perspective, you've overcame a challenge, how that changed your mindset. Part of EQ is recognizing I made a mistake. Now I take a new approach. You showed vulnerability. You wrote about a time you struggled to make a mistake. This is how I guide my students. It's one of the secrets to college essays about showing emotional intelligence. You learn from your mistakes. You demonstrate humility. You demonstrate self-awareness. And you know how to balance confidence with humility. That's a key thing. Confidence is great, but confidence doesn't mean you think you're perfect. You know, even if I don't get it perfect the first time, I will learn from my mistakes and get it right. Okay? And that's empathy, and that's one way to show self-awareness and emotional intelligence. When students have done peer mentorship, having family responsibilities, taking care of a younger sibling shows emotional intelligence, the ability to understand younger people as well. So one of the ways that students want to reflect and add into their essays that I help them with is to think about times when they were able to interact with the people of diverse ideas. I had a student write about, she was leading a group of freshmen. She was a group of freshmen learn about transgender issues, to talk about different issues. People had different views, very hot button issues. She had to really balance their views out and really be a mediator. She was able to really understand the views of different people in the group. Okay, and when students talk about those things, it shows amazing ability to be aware of others. And the colleges, they see this, especially the higher level schools, the top 20 schools, they're going to say, this is someone that's not going to be insular in our community. They're going to be able to relate well to others using their emotional intelligence, often referred to as EQ. They can be able to be self-aware and grow and help others grow in the process. So this is a great question that was submitted. I appreciate the question. And we're going to go to the next question now, but I hope that helped everybody understand how EQ and demonstrating EQ is a secret to writing a fantastic essay and to getting into top schools. The next great question submitted is, Mr. Buffer, what are some characteristics Ivy League schools look for in their essays and in their students' extracurriculars and in their background in general? Great question. So many distinguishing characteristics besides high academic performance, great rec letters, high standardized test scores. One of the qualities I would say schools look for is a global awareness. Ivy League schools really love when students show a very large connection between how the lives of the issues they learn about in school, the issues they care about, are related to global issues, not just local impact, but they have somewhat of a global perspective. What does a global perspective mean? It's a great question. So Ivy League schools are looking for students who don't just think about what happened here in my immediate community in South Brunswick and Princeton, in Manhattan, wherever I am. They want students who see the connection between their passion, whether it's medicine, business, or technology, and the larger global issues. These students might be the ones I see who read the New York Times every day. They told me an article they read. They know how the issues they care about in their medical field, they're interested in their business, how it affects international issues, how it's involved with wars that are happening. They understand how international policies affect their local communities. So the ideal Ivy student isn't just academically accomplished. They have a clear understanding, again, of how their issues intersect with the larger world. So I want to give you an example, because this is a great question. Really appreciate this question. One of my students who got into Cornell last year, and a few other Ivies, he ended up going to Cornell. He had a very big interest in albinism. Albinism is it's a prejudice against albino people who have very, very light skin in Africa. They're considered in certain parts of the world to be demonic, and they get attacked in certain parts of the world. There's superstitions against them. He had such a compassion for these issues, and he was deeply concerned about it. There's a huge social stigma around it, being albino in certain parts of the world. He did an amazing research paper on it for school for his capstone class, but he didn't just stop there. He gave presentations on it at local museums. He understood how that global issue, he brought it to awareness in his community. He made amazing presentations on it. He did a presentation for the town hall on it, which is amazing. It was so impressive. And that was his academic passion. He wanted to be a physician, and he's going to be a physician. And the fact that he deeply cared about that showed such high ethics, social ethics, professional ethics, and that's the kind of person you want into your pre-med program. He wasn't just ethical and compassionate and showed great higher awareness, but he also was concerned about global issues, and he saw those kind of prejudices in his school against certain albino students and other issues, and he was able to connect to the larger issue of discrimination in general. So again, great question. Global awareness from students is one quality Ivy League schools really, really appreciate and look for, and I help my students highlight in their essays and in the presentation and extract from their resumes. Thank you for that question. We're going to go on to the next question. That was a fantastic question. Thank you.